So this idea of evolution of behavior can also be uh, asked in terms of why in some species males dominate and why in some species females dominate. Obviously, it has also to do with physical size and strength. For example, hyenas, females dominate, they're bigger and stronger, whereas in humans in general, the debate still goes on about whether males should dominate, equal pay for equal salary, gender equality issues, and so on and so forth. But in general, there is the example of bonobos, which is used as a way to say that females use sex as a way to achieve equality or prominence in their societies. They are very much social animals and our relatives in terms of great apes. So there are many interesting studies of bonobos and their sexual behavior and how that affects their social behavior. So headlines can be really funny as well. Why do female bonobos have more sex with each other than with males? So it turns out bonobos, the sexual activity is not at all private. It's done in the open and it's done often, and females, there is same homosexuality, if you wish. Female bonobos having so more sex with other females than with males. This is apparently to give them a strength in being together and hanging together. So sex is used as a way to form bonds and cooperation to maintain position in society. On the other hand, bonobo mothers are found to meddle in their sons' sex lives, making them 3 times more likely to father children. So if they looked at males in groups with no female and males in groups with females, and bonobo mothers apparently push their sons to have sex and be more productive in terms of producing offsprings. So is this behavior similar to tool making? Our ancestors, apes, chimpanzees, gorillas, others have some ability to make, even orangutans, red apes and so on, all have ability to make tools, and we of course have opposable thumbs and more anatomical features, and maybe our brain got sharper as we used it more and more to make more precise tools and so on. So behavior and its evolution can be discussed in many contexts, remembering that brain is not necessarily a genetically inherited, other than that there are some cases where mathematical ability and musical abilities are inherited. So using the brain after birth seems to make it sharper, so it may be a use it or lose it kind of organ rather than genetically inherited with all its details from parents to offspring. So evolutionary tree of primates, again based on DNA analysis, shows that humans diverged from bonobos and chimpanzees a mere 8 million years ago, which is very small in evolutionary timescales. The 3 species share more than 98% of their genetic makeup. So it's interesting to figure out how behavioral evolution has happened among them. So the old world monkeys split off more than 20 million years ago. So there's the baboon and the macaque, and humans and apes coming along. And 22 million years ago here, gibbon split off. Orangutan we already looked at 16 million years ago. 10 million years ago we had gorillas, and then humans somewhere along here 6 million years ago. So in terms of our ancestors, bonobos 3 million years ago, and chimps. And looking at these, if we look at social organization among various primates, so bonobo communities are a peace-loving and generally egalitarian, so equal. Égalité in French is equality. The strongest social bonds, the blue lines here, are those among females, green, and so these are the females here. Although females also bond with males, so they have some bond with males, but strongest bonds are between females, and as we said, there is more sex between females than between females and males. So males may not have an option in that. Although females also bond with males, the status of male in gray depends on the position of his mother to whom he remains closely bonded for her entire life. Imagine, son that's attached to you for all your life. This is why females meddle with their sons' sex lives to make them breed more. On the other hand, in chimpanzee groups, the strongest bonds are established between the males in order to hunt and protect their shared territory. The females live in overlapping home ranges within this territory but are not strongly bonded to other females or to any other male. So there's some kind of a monogamy there happening. Gibbons establish monogamous egalitarian relations, and one couple will maintain territory to the exclusion of other pairs. So very different evolution there. Humans, again, looking at males and females, is the most diverse society among the primates. Males unite for cooperative ventures, whereas females also bond with those of their own sex. Monogamy, polygamy, and polyandry are all in evidence. So humans obviously often discuss this intellectually and struggle with whether we are meant to be monogamous or we want to be serially monogamous, and how female education affects bondings or permanence of the bondings, and whether men are seen as providers or just providers of sperms, so females can be independent with their children. And so it's getting more and more complicated as we go along with more and more female education, especially in terms of fertility rates, population drop, and so on and so forth. Gorillas, the social organization of gorillas provides a clear example of polygamy. Usually a single male maintains a range of 4 family units, which contains several females. Wow. The strongest bonds are those between the male and his female. So here is one male maintaining 4 females and 4 family units. So this is some religions among humans allow multiple wives as well, right? Orangutans live solitary lives with little bonding evidence. Male orangutans are intolerant of one another. In his prime, a single male establishes a large territory within which live several females. Each female has her own separate home range. So one male may be associated with 4 females, but each female maintains separate home range there. Okay, so bonobos, dominance by bonding is evidenced by female bonobos who engage in genital rubbing before eating sugarcane. So here are some strange customs there, while a bigger male displays to no avail. Okay, so bigger male here has no luck. The females then share the food without competition. Only when they leave can the male get to the sugar cane. Okay, so male has to wait for the females to do their song and dance, eat, share, and then he can get access. In male-dominated chimpanzee society, the male eats first, while the females wait at a safe distance. After he leaves, carrying as many bananas as he can, the dominant female gets what is left. Small amounts of sugarcane and bananas are provided at some research sites in the Democratic Republic of Congo. See, these are behavioral experimentations. So here is the chimpanzee, the male eating and then carrying whatever he wants and leaves some behind for the females, so the females can then enjoy what is left for them, or not eaten by the male. Looking at the extent of swelling in days during menstruation, female receptivity for sex manifested by swollen genitals occupies a much larger proportion of their estrous cycle of bonobos here over number of days. In chimpanzees, it disappears. Sorry, here. Bonobos and that of chimpanzees. So bonobos remain in the swollen genitals, occupying a much larger proportion of their estrous cycle. The receptivity of bonobos continues through lactation. In chimpanzees, it disappears. This circumstance allows sex to play a large part in the social relations of bonobos. The graph was provided by Jeremy Dahl and so on. Here is another image. Behavior of among bonobos is often reminiscent of that among humans. A female and an infant play together. That's very human-like. A bonobo walks upright, which is very bipedal like us, using his hands to carry food. Two juveniles practice sex without penetration, so they're just making out and experimenting. And a female and female have sex while facing each other, a position once thought to be uniquely human. So this position, which was thought human because most animals don't face each other, so this is something that bonobos practice as well. So this gives you a sense that maybe behavior has evolved among our ancestors in unique ways among bonobos, where females have found a way to use sex to manage their cooperation and society and their dominance or egalitarianism, access to food, and so on and so forth, and males do not have that much control. Is this all occurring through sex, male to female, female to female sex, or is that coincidental, and how much of that is part of our culture, and how are we different than bonobos versus chimpanzees or gorillas, are all questions that are not easily answered, but you can see that sex and society are kind of linked even now. Someone said that sex is all about power, and so if men are all constantly fighting battles and climbing mountains, is this all about sex? So those are kind of questions that are more philosophical than evolutionary, so we will leave it there. Okay.